Look at this thing. A yellow circle, 2 dots, 1 curve, and somehow your brain goes, ah yes, emotion. It's on stickers, buttons, emojis, rave posters, Walmart ads, Nirvana shirts, your phone keyboard. But here's the weird part. Why is it yellow? Why not blue? Why not pink? We treat the yellow smiley like it's obvious, as if happiness has a default color setting. But the smiley face isn't one invention. It's 2 things layered together. An ancient human habit of seeing and drawing faces, and a very modern commercial symbol that standardized one version of that face. Long before office managers discovered morale campaigns, humans were already making face-like marks. We're ridiculously good at seeing faces, clouds, outlets, burnt toast, the moon if you're feeling poetic and mildly sleep-deprived. One famous ancient example is a roughly 3,700-year-old jug found at Carchemish, near the modern Turkey-Syria border. It has 3 little marks that look like a smiling face. Smithsonian reported that researchers interpreted it as possibly the oldest smile. Though, to be fair, ancient pottery does not usually file intent statements. The modern smiley's origin story is not mystical. It's corporate. In 1963, State Mutual Life Assurance Company in Worcester, Massachusetts, had gone through a merger, and morale was apparently not glowing with radiant workplace joy. So they hired graphic artist Harvey Ball to make a cheerful image. History.com reports he was paid $45, and multiple accounts say the design took about 10 minutes. What he created was the version that became the template. Yellow circle, black eyes, black smile, no details. The face reduced to almost nothing. Ball designed something that could be read instantly on a button. According to the Los Angeles Times obituary, he added eyes so the smile couldn't simply be flipped upside down into a frown, and he settled on yellow because it was a sunshine color. That's the cleanest answer. The modern commercial smiley is yellow because yellow felt like sunshine. But if that were the whole story, every sunny doodle would become a global symbol. This one became global because it was built to be copied. Yellow does work visually. It's bright, loud, and easy to spot at small sizes. Put black facial features on yellow, and you get strong contrast, which matters when your entire personality has to fit on a button. The circle already resembles the sun, a small correction from the actual sun here. So the face becomes a tiny personified sunbeam you can pin to a jacket. But yellow doesn't magically mean happiness everywhere. A cross-cultural study of 6,625 people in 55 countries found yellow is often associated with joy. But the association varies by geography and climate. It was stronger in colder and rainier places, which supports the sunshine idea without turning it into a universal law. Yellow can also mean caution, warning. Please don't drive into this construction zone. Design guidance from NHTSA notes that color meaning depends on context, contrast, and learned convention. The same yellow that says happy face on a sticker can say slow down on a road sign. Color doesn't mean one thing by itself. The symbol teaches you how to read it. State Mutual first used Ball's smiley on buttons, and those buttons worked a little too well. According to the Los Angeles Times, they became popular enough that the company reordered them in batches of 10,000. That's how a design choice becomes a convention. Not because humanity gathers in a grand council and votes, yellow shall be the color of mild optimism. It happens because millions of people see the same version over and over. By 1971, more than 50 million smiley face buttons had reportedly been sold. At that scale, yellow stops being an option and starts becoming the look. The smiley had escaped the office. Then came Bernard and Murray Spain, 2 brothers who understood something eternal about humans. We will buy nearly anything if it looks cheerful and costs almost nothing. Smithsonian reports they paired the smiley with slogans like "Have a happy day" and later the now dangerously overused "Have a nice day." By the end of 1971, they had sold more than 50 million buttons, plus other products, mugs, posters, stickers, shirts, novelty items. The smiley stopped being just a morale button and became merchandise. And once it was merchandise, yellow wasn't just Harvey Ball's choice anymore. It was the brand language of cheerfulness. It became sincere, cheesy, commercial, and ironic all at the same time, which is an impressive emotional pileup for a circle with no nose. Here's where the simple little face gets legally spicy. Ball and State Mutual did not trademark or copyright the original design. It was too simple, too loose, too easy to redraw. But that doesn't mean every smiley is ownerless. Smithsonian notes that French journalist Franklin Loufrani registered a commercial Smiley mark in Europe in 1972 and built it into the Smiley Company, a major global licensing business. The idea of a circle with two eyes and a mouth can feel ancient, but a specific Smiley logo can be very modern property. That's still true. In 2024, Nirvana and Marc Jacobs settled a lawsuit over a smiley-faced logo used in fashion, according to Pitchfork. So yes, a three-mark face can radiate joy, irony, and billable legal hours. The yellow smiley survived because it's basically empty. Not boring empty, useful empty. It can hold whatever meaning you pour into it. Corporate ads used it to sell friendliness. Counterculture used it to mock that same friendliness. Watchmen put a bloodstain on a yellow smiley and turned cheerfulness into something sinister. Nirvana's smiley became part of band iconography. Acid house and rave culture adopted smileys as ecstatic, psychedelic symbols because apparently nothing says transcendence like a face drawn by a tired insurance contractor. The weirder the smiley's meanings got, the more recognizable the yellow version became. It could mean "have a nice day," or it could mean "this nice day is collapsing under the weight of late capitalism." Very flexible. And then the smiley moved from buttons to screens. Early digital smiles were made from punctuation, like colon, hyphen, parenthesis, a tiny sideways face assembled from keyboard debris. Emoji brought faces back as images, and those images inherited the yellow smiley convention. Unicode's current emoji guidance says human emoji without a skin tone modifier should use a generic, non-realistic skin tone, and gives RGB FFCC22 as an example. So emoji yellow is not supposed to be realistic skin. It's a cartoon default. Of course, whether yellow actually feels neutral to everyone is culturally complicated, but in design terms, yellow had already become the inherited default. So, why are smiley faces yellow? Because Harvey Ball chose a sunshine color in 1963. Because black on yellow was simple and readable. Because the circle looked sunny before it even had a personality. Because 1970s button culture printed that choice by the tens of millions. Because merch, licensing, pop culture, counterculture, and emoji kept copying the same visual language until it felt inevitable. But it wasn't inevitable. Yellow wasn't destiny. It became tradition, which is how a lot of symbols work. They don't begin as universal. They become universal by surviving repetition. A yellow smiley is barely a face. It has no age, no hair, no nose, no place, no story. Just a circle and three marks. That emptiness is the whole trick. On a button, it's office optimism. On a sticker, it's decoration. In a comic, it can be dread. In a rave poster, it's bliss. In your texts, it's a tiny diplomatic tool for making sure sound less hostile. Maybe that's why it lasted. Yellow makes it feel like a tiny sun. The smile makes it feel human. And everything else, all the happiness, sarcasm, irony, nostalgia, and suspicious corporate cheer, we put there ourselves.